welcome back to Lake City Adventures. It is time for a home theater update. So first of all, really wanted to say thank you to our viewers and the number of people that checked out our home theater videos that we released a couple weeks ago. Fairly crazy how those videos kind of took off with several thousand views. And also just want to commemorate that Lake City Adventures hit the milestone of 100 subscribers. So again, that's because of you guys. We thank you for watching. There were a lot of you that placed comments on the home theater videos and asked questions. I try to look at those and respond to each and every one of them. So hopefully I did. And we wanted to give you a little bit of an update. So let me show you a couple things that have happened in the theater since the last video. All right, so first of all, I don't know if you noticed this, and I think I pointed it out last time, but because this raceway that hides our cable had been all pulled apart to rerun our speaker wires, the paint got all screwed up and it looked like a mess. Well, Buffy spent an entire day, she's so awesome, fixing that. So you can tell now this raceway has all been touched up and painted, and it's so cool because look at it going around this door. When it's painted to match the color of the wall, it is basically invisible. You really, I mean, you can see it when it sticks out and kind of creates a shadow, but where it goes around and then up above here, you can see it a little bit better there just because the light is shining off of it. But when the light's off, it totally vanishes. It's invisible. So that's been fixed. A couple of you may have commented on a couple of little drywall issues. There was one over there by the light switch, and there was one over here on the way to this room. And, teenagers, there's a couple holes in the wall, but that's been fixed. Some drywall work and some paint, and that's all good to go. So that's great. And let me show you, did I show this last time? Let me show you a video of what this theater looks like when the blinds are closed and all the kind of accent lights are on, because it's so cool. Let me show you. So I think the camera will be able to pick this up, but I just wanted to show off kind of what this theater looks like in theater mode. A lot of these lights we actually turn off for a movie, but this is kind of the scene setting. So we've got a hue light in this lamp right here, and then we've got a few popcorn buckets that light up, including the Toy Story Pizza Planet truck, and this is Star from Disney's Wish. And then we've got some underlighting. You can see it shining against the wall. We've got some underlighting underneath those shelves, and then back here as well. I don't have any lighting yet for the top shelf, so I got to work on that, but there's underlighting that shows off some of these Lego sets back here, below Simba there, and next to Jack Skellington. And I showed these off in the last video, so if you want kind of the detailed tour, check out the previous video on the home theater tour. And then we've got the popcorn light on. Buffy spent, again, like a half day scrubbing this thing because it really hadn't been well cleaned for quite a while. So now it's spotless and ready to make some popcorn. And we've got our Figment Imagination Pavilion popcorn bucket from Epcot. And then the Disney Castle, which is showing off what it can do right now. This is from a company called Light My Bricks that sells an accent lighting kit to go with a Lego set. So the Cinderella Castle was just the standard regular Lego set, and then picked up the Light My Brick set online as well, and came back and added it to the castle to kind of give it this lighting effect. It plays music as well, but I don't have that on right now. So yeah, that's it. Just wanted to kind of show how cool this looks with all the accent lights off and the blackout curtains closed and all the lights off. And then now, let's talk about our project for today. So this is our projector for the room, and this is a BenQ HT3550 4K projector. Has a lamp in there, and it's a regular traditional, I think it's a halogen lamp. And that's our project for today. So literally not even 2 days after I filmed the last home theater tour video, we're watching a movie, and in the middle of the movie, the screen goes completely black. And both of us look at each other and, is this part of the movie? Is it supposed to do this? No, the lamp had failed again. And so it really has been a problem with this projector. So if I remember correctly, I got this projector with obviously a brand new lamp that it comes with. And then it failed probably about 1,500 to 2,000 hours in. I got a replacement lamp on Amazon, put that lamp in, brand new. That lamp failed within maybe 1,000 or 1,200 hours. And so I reached out to BenQ. They decided to cover it under warranty, even though it was technically out of warranty. I shipped then the projector back to BenQ support. They looked it over. They didn't find any other problems. They gave me a new lamp, sent it back to me with a new lamp, although it was a refurbished lamp. It had a couple hundred hours on it. And that's the lamp I had been using, and that's the lamp that just failed as well. So I said it in the last video, and I can't remember right now exactly how many hours were on it, but I want to say it was about 1,200 or 1,600, one of those two, but way less than what it's supposed to last. And so original lamp failed, Amazon lamp failed, refurbished lamp failed. So I've had 3 lamps fail, and we've had this for 3 years. So it's kind of like once a year, the lamps are failing, and I don't know why it's failing what I think is sooner than what it should. I have a couple theories. First one is that, and I mentioned this in the last video, but this room, in fact, this whole side of the house has pretty terrible static electricity. So I can, when it's dry, especially, sorry, this is terrible lighting. I look like I'm telling a ghost story. When it's dry and the air is dry, there's not much humidity. I can walk into this room, or somebody can walk into this room and literally touch the light switch on the wall, and it'll cause either the projector or the receiver to kind of freak out, and we'll lose picture and have to power cycle to get things to come back on. And that's despite the entire system being on a pretty decent power surge suppressor kind of a strip. So that's my first theory, is that static electricity could be playing a role. Everything behind the screen, like the receiver and the Apple TV and the Xbox and all that stuff, is plugged into that nice power strip. But let me show you what the projector's plugged into. Right, so the projector's here, and the HDMI cable and the power cable run up above this shelf, and then down this raceway, and down here, and then there's an outlet behind the chairs, and that's where it plugs into right there. And I used to have nothing on that outlet. It just plugged into the outlet. And then I got this guy because of these issues. And this is a little relatively cheap $20 or $30 power conditioner, surge protector kind of a thing. And so actually since I've installed that, I haven't seen that problem of the projector going blank when somebody touches the light switch. So that's good. But I don't know, it still may not be enough protection, and that could be part of the problem. My other theory number 2, and I mentioned this in the last video, but this projector comes with a setting called high altitude mode, and you're supposed to turn it on above 1,500 meters, which, what does that work out to, 4,500 feet? We're 7,700 feet, so we're definitely above that threshold. And I haven't been turning it on because it's super loud. It kicks the fan into this crazy loud high speed mode, and it's annoying. But I wonder if we're just gonna have to deal with that, because I wonder if that's part of the problem, if the lamp's been overheating. It's never given me an error message or shut down or anything along those lines, but certainly when I turn on high altitude mode, that fan kicks up. And so I think I'm gonna have to try, at least for the next few months, putting that on high altitude mode and seeing if it's something I get used to, and it's just kind of like a white noise background thing. You know what I might do, after I get this new lamp installed, I'll use my watch, which has a audio meter, decibel meter, and see if we can actually tell the difference between the regular mode and the high altitude mode and how loud it is. But anyway, so the project for today is we're gonna disconnect, take this projector down, and then I'm gonna show you what lamp replacement looks like. It's not that hard. I'll show you how that works, and then we'll put it back up and align the screen and hope that we get more than 1,000 hours out of this lamp, because that's kind of frustrating. In fact, it really makes me want to reconsider whether or not I want a projector that has a lamp that has to be changed. The newer technology stuff is LED or laser projectors that have more like a 10 or 20,000 lifespan of hours and don't require a replacement. And if you get 20,000 hours out of a projector, I mean, I don't know, you have to do the math on that, but even if you did 4 hours a day at 20,000 hours, that's 5,000 days. So, it's a 10-year, 15-year lifespan with 4 hours a day. So there's plenty of hours out of that. So let me get some tools, which I brought up earlier. They're sitting right over there, and I'll show you how the lamp came packaged. We'll take the projector down and work on getting the new one in there. So here it is. Here's the package from BenQ. I decided this time to just order the lamp directly from the manufacturer to make sure that I got an original OEM manufacturer's lamp, because a lot of the ones on Amazon are aftermarket and may not last as long as the actual OEM. This was a $150 lamp. I did ask him, I sent him an email and said, guys, I understand I'm not in warranty, but getting 4 lamps in 3 years is a little ridiculous. So they did give me a discount, at least 10% off, saved me $15, but they paid for the rest of this. So before I unbox this and show you the lamp, I do want to show you something about this. This came by FedEx, and it was the most ridiculous shipping experience of all time. Let me show you. All right, so I'm doing a little screen recording here so I can show you the travel history of this package on FedEx. So it left its location, or it left its origin on Friday, August 16th. And on that date, they said it was going to be delivered on the 19th. All right, so it was picked up in Chino, California. By the next day, the 17th, it left Chino, California, and went through Seaver, Utah. Totally reasonable. Sunday, August 18th, it's on the way, and it ends up through Elizabeth, Colorado, and to Henderson, Colorado. And Henderson is a big FedEx hub just outside of Denver, so that's where most of our packages go through. So this is fine. 2 days later, it's in Henderson. I'm expecting it to be delivered on Monday. So Monday, no tracking updates whatsoever. No information. Tuesday, it's now a day late. I pull up tracking, and it's in Scottsbluff, Nebraska. It went from California to Utah to Colorado to Nebraska. What the heck? And now it's in Nebraska. It's in Nebraska for a full day, and then 11:55 p.m. that night, it's back in Henderson. That makes no sense. 2 days later, it's in the exact same location that it was before it took a little field trip to Nebraska. That's Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm thinking, all right, it's in Henderson. It's going to be delivered on Wednesday. I wake up in the morning and it's in Goodyear, Arizona. What in the world? So it went from California to Utah to Colorado to Nebraska, back to Colorado to Arizona, spent Wednesday in Arizona, and left Arizona Thursday to get through parachute back to Henderson Thursday, and then got delivered today, Friday. So again, to summarize, from California to Utah to Colorado to Nebraska, back to Colorado to Arizona, back to Colorado, and then it was delivered. What the heck? All right, so after that long journey, the package is here. So let's go ahead and open this up. I hope it's well padded since it's traveled back and forth across the United States 37 times. So inside the box is another box. BenQ Projector Lamp Kit. It comes with some written directions, which is good. It's a little intimidating, I guess, the first time you do it, just because that projector is so expensive, but really it's a pretty easy process. So it comes with this nice little padded egg crate. And then here is the actual lamp sitting on another egg crate inside there. So we'll get rid of these. And then, I imagine you want to be pretty careful about not putting fingerprints on this guy or touching the actual glass lamp portion itself. So we're going to carefully take this out. And this is how it comes. So it's integrated inside its housing, and it's got the little wiring harness that'll connect inside the projector. And it looks like a brand new halogen bulb in there. This one came with screws, and I think we'll reuse the screws that are inside the projector too. So this little guy is $150. So now let's shift gears a little bit. I'm going to set this here. I'm just going to keep it safe on my little work table. And we're going to take this camera into the theater and get the projector off the mount. So we're back here at the back of the projector. First step, just unplug HDMI cable and power to make sure we're all disconnected and not energized. And then I really like this mount. So this mount is, I'll link it in the description down below. I got it on Amazon. It's a universal mount, but it's controlled, or it's held up by Allen screws right there. And it's a 5mm Allen screw. And I don't know if you can tell in this video, but this little guy right here, right there, is a hook. And so you can loosen and take the Allen screw all the way out, and the projector is not going to fall anywhere. So you don't have to kind of hold it up while you're loosening it. So we'll take the Allen screw out, and then we'll just lift the projector off. All right, so I just loosened it. I'm kind of doing this and filming at the same time. I don't have enough hands to do all of it, but so it's loose now, and can you see on this side how it's a hook on top of this screw? So you don't have to take it all the way out. Just loosen it, and we'll loosen that side. And we're going to loosen this side. And it's actually really nice because on the inside too, there are these little safety nuts. So you cannot back the bolt all the way out, because yeah, if you back the bolt all the way out, well, then the projector is going to fall to the ground. And that's not what you want. But we've got the bolts loosened, and so we should be able just to kind of reach up and slide the projector off. All right, so projector's now off the mount. I just lifted it off those little hooks. And if you couldn't see it before, there's those hooks right there. So that Allen bolt went right through there. And I ended up having to loosen it all the way until where the safety bolt hit to give enough room, but then it lifted right off. And so I just lifted it off, and this is a ceiling mount. So this projector is mounted upside down. So it's sitting upside down. So the next step is we're gonna take this mount off. And so that way we can flip it around and get it solid on its base and get to work on the lamp. I'm gonna put the lens cover on just to protect that area while we're working on it. And so it's just 3 Phillips screws. And you know, these adapters, because they're universal, they come with these little cushions. And so you can use however many you need just to get a nice flush fit for your projector mount onto your projector. And in this case, there's one big one and one little one stacked on top of each other was the perfect fit. So I don't have to mess with any of these. These are all adjusted to get the right dimensions for any individual projector. But now we're gonna go ahead and take these 3 Phillips screws out and get the mount off. You can see here how there's 2 different ones stacked on top of each other. So I'm just putting those to the side, making sure we don't lose any pieces. And then we're gonna flip the projector over. So here's the projector turned over right side up. Now, for reasons that are totally a mystery to me, BenQ made this design decision to put the 2 screws that hold the lamp cover in place kind of receded way down in there, and little tiny, tiny screws. So a regular screwdriver doesn't work. I had this little tiny, kind of almost like an eyeglass screwdriver. It is Phillips, and that's what I've used. So there's 1 screw there. And then on this side, there's a screw hidden inside that top right grate. I think I just focused on it. Can you see it in there? I don't know if you can or not, but it's hiding inside that, there it is, inside that top right square. So those are the 2 screws that we need to loosen and take out. And then this cover just pops and slides forward. These screws don't come all the way out, so we're just going to get them loose, and it's kind of like a set screw. So once it's loose, you can hear it kind of clicking. It doesn't get any more loose, and then it's no longer holding a grip on the cover. So now we can take our hands and just pull this cover forward. And this is awkward. I did not like it the first time I did it. I thought I was going to break something, but this is right. This one's loose. I want to make sure this one's kind of resisting on this side, so I just want to make sure this screw's all the way disengaged. I think it is. All right, it was just brute force. So there's 4 clips. Maybe you can see them on the video here, but 1, 2, 3, 4. And those 4 clips just have to pop out of these 4 little grooves right here. And then this cover just comes off, and you're gonna set it aside. And so the lamp is hidden underneath this black paper right here with this little, don't touch, you're gonna burn yourself warning on it. And it's just stuck on by adhesive. I've taken it off 3 or 4 times now, and each time it'll go back on and it's still sticky. So I just kind of gently pull that off so you don't damage it, and set it aside where the stickiness isn't going to get messed up. And then we can see, and can you guys see inside there? There's 3 screws, 1, 2, 3, that hold the lamp in place. And then this right here is the little wiring connector that holds that wires the lamp into the projector. So let me zoom in a little bit. That's a good shot. And this is just kind of stuck here on the side, so you can lift it up, And then you just squeeze this tab right here and it should unplug nice and easily. So now the lamp is unplugged. The lamp also has this little metal square shaped thing, and it's a pain to get up. Sometimes I've had to use a Phillips screwdriver on to kind of pop this up, or you can try to use your fingernail, which isn't working very well. All right, hang tight. Let me get a flat screwdriver. All right, so got my little flat screwdriver and should be able to pry this up. There you go. I'll show you my challenges so you understand how hard it is. All this does is create a little handle so you can pull and lift the lamp out of the space. So we are going to go ahead and take those 3 screws out right here, 1, 2, 3, and then lift this guy up and out. And so I don't think I need to get them all the way out. Nope, you just need to get so they're not screwed into the holder anymore. And then your whole lamp, you use that handle, and the whole lamp should come out as a unit. And you want to save these screws because these 3 screws right here, not every replacement lamp that I have received has had screws with it. So I always want to remove these screws. You always want to save these screws and not lose them. I'm just inspecting the old lamp and it actually looks fine. I've had one of these explode. And so on the inside here, it was all just shards of glass everywhere. But this still looks intact, which makes me a little nervous. I hope this was the problem. So I'm hoping that replacing this lamp and this thing's going to work again and it's not a different problem. But I assume a halogen lamp can burn out. I can't see it close enough to see if the filament's okay. So this is the old lamp and I'm going to grab the new one and we're going to gently put it in place. So here's that new lamp. And again, I would not touch the front here. Don't get any fingerprints on that. There's plenty of metal objects to hold on the outside of it here. And see this one only came with 2 screws. So I don't know if they're saying you only need to use 2 or not, but I'll probably take one of the other ones out from the old lamp. And you don't really need to use that handle putting it in like you do getting it out. Because going in, you just want to kind of make sure that the cable is not under a lot of stress. It's going to kind of, there's enough room for it in there, but it's going to kind of tuck down there. And then you can use the cable as a little bit of a handle too. I probably should have used that handle actually, just to make sure I had good control. I didn't drop it. I'm trying to be really gentle with this guy because I won't give any excuse for it to fail. All right, so we just need to get those screws aligned with their screw slots, which we've got. And then once we get one tightened in here, then this lamp will be nice and secure. It's not going to go anywhere. Got it. We'll tighten the other one and then we'll grab an old screw out of the old lamp and put that in the middle so that there's 3 intact screws. My guess is you only need 2 since that's how they ship the new lamp, but I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. All right, so the 3rd screw is in place. Now, don't do what I did, which is go too fast, drop the screw on the ground, lose it in the invisible camouflage of the carpet, find it, go to install it into the lamp, go too fast again, drop it, have it go behind the lamp. Then you have to reinstall the lamp, take it back out to find the screw, to get the screw out, to put the lamp back in, to put the 3rd screw in. So just telling you about my mistakes so that you can do it better when you do it. So these guys right here, again, simple plug and play connection. We're just going to plug those together. It kind of snaps in place. And there's a little shelf right here that actually has a nice little design because there's a little gap that holds the clip. And so it'll keep it in place. Kind of. It's wanting to pop out. There we go. So now that's in place and we're done. All 3 screws are secured. You want to kind of pop this little handle back in place, I think, just so it doesn't move or rattle or anything like that. And then you're going to take your adhesive cover that we removed and just gently kind of lay it back down into the little groove where it fits and stick it back into place around the edges, just like that. Again, that's probably the 4th time I've replaced that thing and it's still a little sticky. And then this guy, you can see now on the undersurface of this why this is so hard to get off. It's not just those 4 clips. There's another one there. There's 2 there. So it's actually 8 clips that hold it in place. And so that's what all these little squares are on the outside. So we're going to flip this guy around and we'll just kind of get this into the right location and slide it forward. And it's really easy to put in. It's just hard to get out. And now we're going to take our little tiny screwdriver that we used before and tighten those 2 set screws on either side, here and on this side too. And then it'll be put back together. We'll be ready to put it back up onto the mount. Okay, screws are in. Now let's flip it over and put the mount back on. All right, guys, our mount's back on. So now we're going to go put it back on the hooks. And, we're definitely going to need to align it. So hopefully this thing fires back up and the lamp comes on. And then it's not going to be aligned perfectly to the screen. So I'm going to put the bolts in, but not all the way tight, so that it's got a little bit of wiggle room and we can adjust it and get the screen aligned perfectly. I'm going to see if I can do this one-handed. So lifting it up, and then we just need to get those hooks up and over the bolts. There we go. And then we'll use our 5mm Allen wrench. And like I said before, I'm not gonna tighten it completely at this point. We're just gonna tighten it enough so that it kind of holds its position, and I can make some fine adjustments on the position of the screen, the projector relative to the screen. All right, so here's the back of the projector. And I'm using just HDMI 1. So we're gonna reinstall our HDMI cable and see how the projector moves because it's not tightened yet. And we are gonna reinstall our power cable. Good. All right, moment of truth. Let's go power it on and see what happens. So that single orange light is what it looks like when it's off, but it has power. And I just hit the power button on my Harmony remote control. And it's gonna blink, and we're gonna hope that we have light. Look at that, we have light, yes. So it was just a burned out bulb. It lit just great. All right, so there you go. We have a functional lamp. Now let's let it fire all the way up, and then I'll show you how I align the screen. So here's the remote control for this BenQ projector, and then there's a button right up here that's called test pattern. And so we're going to turn on test pattern, and it's going to give us this little green array. And so then I'm just going to gently, I don't want to hit or really kind of impact my projector, but I'm just going to gently move it around. There's no way I can do this and film at the same time, but you can see it's all already pretty good. And I talked about this in the last video, but the nice thing about this particular screen that I have, which is from Silver Ticket, is that the borders of it are black fabric. And so you can have your image project a little bit, a few millimeters beyond the edge of the screen, and you'll never see it because that black just absorbs the light. So it really gives you a lot of wiggle room. So I'm gonna get this aligned just right. I'm gonna tighten down those bolts on the mount to make sure it's nice and stable. And then that's our doorbell. If you can't tell, we're Disney fans. Name the tune. But I'm gonna tighten this down, and then I'm gonna show you a couple of changes I'm gonna make in the projector settings. So what I always remember when I do this is that you can't tighten the bolts without moving the projector. So you just kind of try to put it in the right place. Then you tighten the bolts, and there's still a little bit of wiggle room that you can slightly adjust it and it won't fall out of place. So there we are, finished product. I think it's pretty good. We're right up to the corner on that edge. We're a little tiny bit past on that edge, but that's okay because of that black beam, or that black felter on the edge. I'd rather have that couple millimeters of screen not present on the top than I would have a gap. So I'm good with this. I'm gonna leave it where it is. I can always adjust it further later. So let me show you the settings I was talking about. We have our nice Apple TV screensaver. Looks kind of washed out because the bright overhead lights are on right now. But I'm gonna bring up the menu and the projector, and I'm gonna go all the way over to lamp settings. And you can see, yeah, Boy, there was only 436 hours on that lamp. What the heck? That was way less than I thought. So that lamp failed at 436. That's not good, but it was refurbished. So I'm gonna reset this lamp timer. Just click OK and then say yes. Reset lamp timer. Oops, I must have hit cancel and not yes. It's hard to tell which one's actually being selected. One's purple and one's gray. Which one's the selected one? Okay, reset successfully. So if I go back into menu now under lamp settings, my lamp timer should be 0, and there it is. So here's the other thing, is the high altitude settings. And so where is that? Let me try to find that on here. There it is. So it's under that third tab called installation, and then high altitude mode right here. So before I make this change, let me see if I can use my watch and measure the decibels right now, and then the decibels after I make the change. Totally unofficial test. Okay, I'm talking right now. I'm gonna stop talking and let's measure the decibels. I'm holding it about 3 or 4 inches away from the fan. All right, 45 decibels. Now let's put it in high altitude mode and see what happens. We recommend you use the high altitude mode by selecting it whenever your environment is higher than 1500 meters. Do you want to turn it on? Nice typo there. Do I want to turn high altitude mode on? Yes. All right. It's now on. Let's give it a minute for the fan to spin up, and then I'll measure the decibels again. About 56 decibels. So 56 compared to 45 decibels, that's 11 decibels higher. So I had to remind myself, but it is true, decibels are on a logarithmic scale. So every time a decibel goes up by 10, the sound is 10 times louder. So if we go from 45 to 55, that sound is 10 times louder. So does that tell you something about how loud the fan is? I mean, 55 decibels, 56 decibels is not the end of the world, but 45 is so quiet, you never really even notice it, and 56, you definitely notice. So I'm gonna leave it on though, because we just see that lamp failed in 426 hours. I can't be replacing a lamp every 3 months at $150 a lamp. So I'm gonna leave that on high altitude mode, and we're just gonna see if we get used to it. And I'm gonna hope, I haven't really had as much of static electricity issues as we used to, especially in the summer. It gets worse in the winter, but right now it's not too bad. So we're gonna give it some time. The nice thing is, let me turn the lights off. The nice thing is when you put a brand new bulb in here, whoa, do you realize that it's a lot brighter? It's one of those things you don't notice because it slowly gets dimmer over time. And so it's just a tiny, tiny, tiny change from day to day, and you get used to it each day. But when you put a brand new bulb in there, it is obviously brighter. Let me show you. So I know this doesn't really mean anything because the brightness on the video is all about the brightness of your screen and how it's captured and the brightness of the camera and all that. So you're gonna have to take my word for it. It's bright. It's a lot brighter than it was before with the old lamp in there. And I've got that cinema mode on. Let me bring the menu back up. I showed this in my last video, but my picture mode that I use is cinema. I could almost probably get away with dark cinema with a brand new lamp, but I like a little bit of a brighter picture as opposed to a darker picture. So we're gonna leave it on cinema. I'm not gonna make any other adjustments. All the other settings should be fine. I'm just confirming because I'm paranoid to make sure I reset those lamp settings so I can keep track of this. It is definitely on 0 hours. So we're done. All right, so now I'm sitting here in the dark because it's time to watch something because we finally have our home theater back up and running. So thanks again for watching. Let me know down below in the comments if you have any other suggestions or if you have any concepts or ideas of why my lamps are failing so quickly after 429 hours or whatever it is. I would love to hear it. I think eventually I'm gonna have to move on to a projector that doesn't have lamps, but the projectors that I have interested in, like the Epson LS11000 and the BenQ 4550 are $3,000-$4,000. So this projector is working fine when it has a new lamp. I don't have a need to move. The picture quality is beautiful, so I'm not ready to upgrade quite yet. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for our next video. This is kind of a cool thing. So I actually, for the first time in the history of Lake City Adventures, I had a company reach out to me. So there's a company called Sofa Baton that makes universal remote controls. And so they reached out to me and asked me if I'd be willing to make a video reviewing their newest universal remote control. And absolutely, that sounds fun. So they sent me a remote control to try, which the box is sitting right over there. And next video, I'll show you the unboxing and the setup, and we'll try it together and see what we think and see how it works. So it's the Sofa Baton Universal Remote. So stay tuned for that video. But for now, I'm going to sign off. Thanks for watching, and hopefully this helps somebody out there who might be trying to replace the lamp on their BenQ projector. I'll put the details down below of the model number and the lamp and a link to the lamp. And thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.